Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Okay, guys, this is the annual report for the half yearly report, financial report for the RIT Capital Partners PLC, which is run by the Rothschild dynasty. I'm sure you won't need a background on who the Rothschild dynasty is and how they played a huge integral role in handing over Israel to the Zionist occupiers during the Balfour Treaty, how they financed both sides of the conflicts in World War II, and the kind of role that they continue to play today in the financial world, and which is basically um, a monopoly run by them. They own the Federal Reserve in the United States and central banks all over the world. Um, there's a lot to be said about them, and we're not going to discuss that. But what I want to discuss very quickly is where the smart money is. Now, according to this report, they've removed all their exposure to US dollars, which indicates what we've been indicating, that the United States is going to collapse. Now, what's understood globally in the financial world is when the United States sneezes, the rest of the world gets a cold. And that's exactly what would happen, and the global economy would collapse. Like I said, I did a little vlog on the currency. I'm going to very quickly just take you guys to that vlog so that you can see it on the channel, which is concerning the digital cryptocurrency, right? So, economist. Here we go. There it is. Right, and in this we quickly discuss the Rothschild family owning a share in The Economist. This is the cover of The Economist in 1988. It shows the phoenix. So the phoenix again is symbolism for Iblis Lanatullah alayh, and the cycle of life, right? The snake, the Ouroboros eating its own tail, that kind of thing. So it's the phoenix rising from the ashes. This happened in the 2012 Olympics in the UK as well. There was a huge tribute and occult ceremony in which there was a huge phoenix rising from flames. And what you see is the paper currency of the world, and the phoenix rising and rising with a digital currency, and you'll see 2018 over here, and then the fleur de lis above its head, right? We covered that, and then we discussed um, the Rothschilds owning. There you go. Rothschilds ownership of the Economist Group, right? So their ownership over the magazine. And then we discussed how they'd actually written about this in 1988, and I've left links to that as well, where they discussed this new currency that they're going to introduce in 2018. So the masses are being lulled into this Bitcoin fever, just so that they can get their foot in the door and warm them to the concept of a digital currency, which then they will introduce globally, and it'll be a government regulated currency. Now, I'm going to just leave that very quickly. I just thought I'd mention that. But what's interesting is the Rothschilds have now sold their assets in the US. And I'm not the sort of person who actually covers these sort of things, but I'm sure you guys have also received that text. And alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah, and quite rightly so. I guess we should be proud that they're Gujarati and they're birds of the same flock, subhanallah. But these guys have invested their money, a sizable amount, well, committed to a contract for 700 odd forecourts in the United States, when in fact it's going to be tumbling down. And interesting enough, as it happens, and I'm sure they're not aware of who these guys are in relation to what we just discussed, and how they are allied with Iblis Lanatullah alayh in their outlook over the globe and what their intentions are. But not so long ago, in 2015, Euro garages were advised by the Rothschilds. There you go. Yeah. And right now, it seems that I'm sure that the same investment group is advising them, and now they're being maybe sold toxic investments, and they're probably not aware of this or aware of the intentions that they have for the United States of America and their economy as it collapses. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best, but as I said, the smart money's on the dollar, away from the dollar, and they're investing in other places. In fact, they're selling their estate in Austria as well, a huge estate. But then we all know, we've discussed it, and I've spoken to you guys about it at length, where Austria is certainly facing some huge challenges with Russia. And when all of this does kick off, then Austria is going to be a very bad place to be in relation to Europe and Russia falling out. So it's interesting that the Rothschilds, or in fact it's not, that they're selling their huge estate, which has been within the family for centuries now. Anyway, I thought I'd just very quickly just touch base on this and share that with everyone, and maybe perhaps archive it. Jazakallahu khairan wa sunul jaza for your time. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.